morning, everyone. Can you tell who this is? This is, of course, good morning. I'm happy to welcome everyone to Student of the Month. Before we get started, this is Principal Intern, Mr. Pads, and he is going to show self-discipline. When you run around like that, you do not have control over your actions. Stand still, please. What are you thinking? Are you thinking that you are ready to focus? All right. We are going to have a great time together because we are here for a special celebration. We have been focusing on self-discipline, and we are going to turn things over to Mrs. Fago.
Let's hear it for Mr. Pags. And let's hear it for Miss Miller. And one more round of applause for our September winners. Okay, my friends, so welcome to our first Positivity Project Assembly of the Year. I'm going to wait for you guys to settle down. Let's see how you at a 0. Good job, Columbus. All right, so September's character trait was self-discipline. And I have a little video to show you about self-discipline. we're a good audience. Let's get started with our kindergarten Student of the Month winners from Miss Fricolo's class, Lila Train. From Mrs. Naimi's class, Stephanie Thar. From Mrs. Ronaldo's class, Natalia Del Monte Nieves. From Mrs. Zelznik's class, Umaira Jamal. Good job, kindergarten. Moving on to first grade from Mrs. Menino's class, Muslima Omar. From Mrs. Alicia's class, Castiel Linen. From Miss Warma's class, Daibala Har. From Mrs. Elder's class, Maximilian Saar. From Miss Hardinez's class, Brianna Lopez. We have one more from Mrs. Natalini's class, Isabella De Leon Kenyon. She's on her way up. Good job, first grade. Moving on to second grade from Mrs. Capero's class, Valerie Shecker Bolinoto. From Mrs. Kalici's class, Amela Afendik. From Miss Mush's class, Chase Liggins. From Mrs. Supa's class, Onais Rodriguez Sereno. Good job, second grade. Moving on to third grade from Mrs. Testa's class, Rosanna Say. From Mrs. Williams' class, Marvelous Min. From Mrs. Whiter's class, Liliana Cox. From Mrs. McEwen's class, Charles Song. Good job, third grade. Fourth grade from Mrs. Jackson's class, Alan Kostick. From Miss Murphy, Athena Pitch. Mrs. Parada, Emmanuel Say. From Mrs. Gadara, Pahe Do. And from Miss Diaz, David Peralta. Good job, fourth grade. Moving on to fifth grade from Miss Schaefer, Kun Ong Thane. From Miss Tobias, Precious Dong. From Mrs. Keller, Curly Share. From Mrs. Liberty, Jovian Papasso. Good job, fifth grade. Moving on to sixth grade from Mrs. Payne's class, Amari Lovett. From Mrs. Reedman's class, Santino Ramos. From Mrs. Ferrucci's class, Lily Moo. From Mrs. Kopek's class, Idina Pizarra. And from Mr. Jones's class, Mary Moo. Moving on to special area. Music with Mrs. Larish, Denzel Lang. Art with me, Mrs. Vega, Quinn Neary. And phys ed with Mr. Crusoe, Estebania Mercedes. Good job. And last but not least, we have our AIS Awards from Mrs. Lloyd Ivory Lai. From Mr. Pagliaro, Zemena Camano. From Mrs. Galillo, LA. And from Mrs. Arcuri, Juma Juma. let's have one more really loud round of applause for all of our September winners. Join your class. Good job. Okay, so we just finished talking about September's character trait being self-discipline. October's character trait is teamwork. When you are showing teamwork, you work well as a member of a group or a team. You are loyal, reliable, and dedicated to helping your team achieve its goals. If we work together, we can accomplish major tasks, and the positive feelings associated with being part of a larger group can be highly beneficial and help to combat selfishness. Here are some key words that go along with teamwork. I'm going to let you guys read those yourselves. So if you are exhibiting teamwork, you are loyal, reliable, inclusive, dedicated, and cooperative. And I have a little video to show you. So I hope to see a lot of teamwork this coming month. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so tomorrow is October 1st, so our teamwork character traits tomorrow. So does our new yoga for the morning. Shh. I have a lot of loud friends out there. Let's do a 0 again. Good job. So our standing strength starts tomorrow during morning yoga. We're going to do these series of poses. A lot of you did these last year when we did Yoga Week. A lot of you learned them, and you are going to go over them in phys ed class with Mr. Crusoe and Mr. Caswell. But I just wanted to give you a little preview. We're going to do Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. You're going to do some of these poses starting tomorrow, okay? For our mindfulness, we have new mindfulness starting tomorrow. We're going to talk about being a honeybee teamwork and our positive affirmation. I'm going to teach it to you right now. My positive thoughts create positive feelings. So how about I say it and then you say it? My positive thoughts create positive feelings. Give yourselves a round of applause. That is all we have for you today. My K1 and 2 classes are going to dismiss. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to stay for student council speeches.
If you have a certificate that you just received an award and you would like to talk to your family real quick, they're in the back. Families, thank you so much for coming today and being a part of our school. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a great day, everyone. And thank you, Mrs. Faga. That was amazing. Let's give her a great big round of applause. She's amazing. I love that. That was great.